This is Story Route Zero, a podcast where friends gather to talk of their travels through the good, the bad, the ugly, the funny, and even the confusing worlds encountered in games. We may not always know where we're going, but that's often half the fun. Do you have a question, comment, concern, or a story of your own? Hit us up on Twitter at storyroute_0. You can email us at storyroute0@gmail.com, and you can find everything we do at storyroute0.com. Let's have a journey. Feel the rhythm with your hands. Steal the rhythm while you can. Spoon Man. Welcome to Story Route Zero. My name's Matthew. I just caused both Moose and Jason's heads to bobble a little. I've never done that before. Just like all of a sudden.
Spoon Man.
That's fine.
The Jay Leno episode.
That's why I shouted. That's why I use the lyrics, because I like the song as well. This is Story Route Zero. We talk about video games. My name's Matthew. I've got my buddies Jason.
Woo!
And Jason is coming directly from the oldest house. How are you, sir?
Yeah.
Doing well.
Cool.
How are you?
I'm all right. A little tired. Had a weird sleep pattern this weekend, but we'll push through. Moose, directly as always from his grandmother's basement. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing
Cool.
good.
How we talk about video games here? How was everybody's weekend? What'd you guys do?
I did nothing, and it was amazing.
Awesome.
As a parent, it's like, yes, this is the best weekend ever.
Yeah, because you don't have anything to do.
It was like, oh my god, we had gymnastics for an hour. She already had a play date. That was it.
Nice.
Nice. An open calendar. So good.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
I finished the review. We started a new one.
Yeah.
Cool.
Can you talk about what you finished?
I finished Bookbound Brigade for the Switch.
Cool.
When does your review go live?
It should be in another day or two.
So can you talk about it?
Yeah, I mean the game's out.
I didn't know it was out. Oh, sorry, my bad.
Oh no, the game's out. It's not borrowed, but I'll talk about that when we talk about what we're playing. And I started another review, which I'll talk about. But besides that, I mean, just hung around the house. I mean, did some cleaning. Got my in-laws coming next weekend to free babysitting.
Nice. You and Jessica, I was gonna say y'all going out on the town.
Yeah, on the town.
Nice.
What's funny is every time we go out, without fail,
we're going to Edison, New Jersey.
You know when you go to a restaurant and Toby's like, oh, what the hell? This wait is forever. They didn't come back for our food. Every time we go out, it could be the busiest restaurant. They're there like, oh, what do you want to eat? It's like, here. Yeah. And it's like 40 minutes go by, we're done. It's like, well, shit, what do we do now?
That's why you got to eat slow. You got to be like, listen, we're going to order the appetizer, bring it out. We're going to eat it. When you take the plate away, go drop it off and come back and take our actual order. Like we need time away from the kids.
It's the weirdest thing. Like we go out with the girls and it's like, did the waiter get lost? Where the hell did they go? We got just the two of us. They're like sitting there like, oh, you're done? Oh, I'll take this. Oh, next? Oh, done? Oh, your bill? Here. And they're like, It's like they wait for the credit card. Like, we're not even going to walk away. I'll just wait. You could pay now.
You
can pay right here.
Yeah, I'll do you a solid. I'll make this quick. Just give me the money. Just give me the money.
That's why you gotta find like a wine bar or like, you know, like some kind of bar you'd like to go to afterwards and just go have a couple drinks. You know, you could do that. Kind of relax.
Yeah, I mean the babysitter's free, so it's not like we have to pay them.
Right, yeah. Just make sure there's food in the house.
Fortune.
Yeah, they do. My coworker is having another kid. Like her first kid is just turning one or just turned one, and so her other kid's like a year, like 13 months after is gonna be born 13 months after, and she was telling me. The 5 years she'll have her kids in daycare, it's going to be like $130,000. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I'm like, for 2 kids? I'm like, where are you putting them?
Yeah, where are you putting them? Now,
Oh,
I remember we had gone to a wedding down the shore, about an hour from us. We were gone like 9 hours. So not only did we have to drive down there, whatever the wedding gift was, plus to get back, and it's like, yeah, we got to pay the babysitter like $150. Fuck.
Oh, damn.
jeez.
Like, nope, kids are coming with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a relaxing weekend. It was nice to not do anything for a change.
Nice.
Moose, how
Weather
about
kind of
you?
sucked here. It was a little rainy, so
Has it been rainy for you? Just like it just
Yeah.
seems like a constant rain cloud for the last like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready for, like, yesterday we had some sun down here and it started to dry out and I was like, oh, it'll be awesome. You know, not warm. Like, we were warm right before the rainstorm hit. We had that crazy storm coming through the south um on Thursday. We had
Right.
tornado warnings. Like, it was a crazy storm. Like, some businesses in Charlotte like sent their people home because it was just like there were supposed to be like power outages and stuff like that. And so we didn't have any issues, knock on wood, thank God. But it was just like really weird. And then it's just been like rain, rain, rain. Like, today, went into work and I looked out the window because I have like I sit in the office I sit in has like windows like 3 feet away from me, and I'm just like, it's raining again. Like, why is it? I'm like, I don't even need like warm weather. Just give me sun. You know what I mean?
Well,
I feel
the thing is, what that should be at this time of year is
snow.
it should be snow here. It probably should be
Yeah.
snow there at this point too.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Usually around this time it is, but it's just it's like warm, and so it's rare. Like, usually our snowstorms are in January. We have had a snowstorm in April, which was really weird, but that came and gone real quick. But I mean, usually we start warming up here in North Carolina in like March. Like, it's like mid to late 50s, and then like as soon as my birthday hits, which is right after spring, it's, you know, it turns into spring. It's like boom, 60s, and then it just gets like warmer, and it's beautiful out. But I'm just like, I'm tired of rain, tired of seeing clouds, tired of seeing puddles. But
I think it'll be funny that if we get through February without snow on the eastern seaboard, there won't be anybody getting on the Senate floor with a snowball going, "See why global warming doesn't exist?"
yeah. Yeah.
How was your weekend? What'd you do?
It was good, man. So went and had breakfast with the parents Saturday, and then got our taxes done. Came home, played some video games. I'm helping a buddy of mine build his PvP character for Dark Souls 3 because we're doing a fight club. So he's talked about
Birthday
that before.
fight club, right?
Well, I am doing a fight club on my birthday, which is a Sunday. So, well, it'll be either Sunday or Saturday. I still have yet to decide, like, figure out what we're doing, Kelly and I, for my birthday, which, you know, could be anything I probably want it to be. You know what I mean? So if I said, let's celebrate Saturday, and then I'm going to stream all day Sunday, which is my birthday, let's do it. But, yeah, so just doing that. So we're getting his PvP character ready. I just had a fun time co-oping with that. And then I was found a new streamer, Pappy Fubar, who's awesome. He's on right now, and he wanted my help. I was helping him with Bloodborne. He was in the DLC, and so we were running through there, and like, we weren't in a party, so I'm like typing in his streaming chat, like, where we gotta go. And I'm like, I don't remember that we were in the research hall, and I'm like, dude, sorry, but I don't remember this area as good as like any other area in Bloodborne. as good as any area in Bloodborne. Like, the DLC, that's my problem. Like, I think I need to do like a save file where you can start the DLC and then just like back it up and then start the DLC, reload it, and then, you know, start it all over again, so I can learn the DLC as well as I know the main game. And anyway, so we got to Orphan, and then Orphan just like owned us. Like, Orphan one-shotted us. So like, for those who don't know, the Orphan of Kaz has a weapon that he uses like a yo-yo.
Yep.
And so he does this one attack where he spins it around like twice. He hit us with I healed right before he was swinging, and he hit us not with the first swing, but the second swing, and killed both of us. Like, he killed me, like, because I was out further ahead of Poppy, and then so I died. he heard me, and then boom, like the swing came around and nailed him in like one shot at him. So like somebody clipped it for us, which was pretty awesome. So yeah. He was like, he one shot us. It was just like, it was pretty hilarious. But we weren't able to defeat him, so I think because he was getting tired and he wanted to get close to ending stream. So I said, like, go farm some echoes, buy some vials. So like next time, buy some materials, so that the next time you try him, you're not sitting there going into a fight going, I only have 4 blood vials. Like, no, you need to have like max. Like, you also need to be going back and being like, I have the rune on that gives me an additional 4 blood vials, so I have 24 instead of 20. You need that as well. But we had a couple fights where we were doing really good, and then I got stuck on the orphan's mom, and that's just
that out of context sounds awesome.
Yeah. Well, not really, because she's just like a fucking fish laying on the beach, and then he crawls out of
Not
her.
helping.
I know.
He want that shovel?
Dig up.
But anyways, so that was fun, and then yesterday was God, I don't even know what the hell I was doing yesterday. I hung out with a buddy of mine who I haven't seen in a while, who I worked with at Lowe's, and we had lunch. I drank a couple good ciders. Went to Ghostface. They had peanut butter face. I did not get it because it's no beer till birthday, and I'm probably gonna be sad because it won't be there around my birthday time.
Do they not? Anyways, does Ghostface? Do they not can or?
No, not yet. And they don't. I don't believe they make that. They make that beer a lot throughout the year, but I don't think it's a year-round beer.
Okay.
I don't want to say it's seasonal because I've seen it there in like the summertime and whatnot. You know what I mean? So I think it's like we'll go a couple months and then we'll make it. Go. Like maybe once a quarter or 3 times a year or something like that. But anyways, so I went there, hung out. Then we played Castle Crashers. So we're playing Castle Crashers because that was a lot of fun because we needed a co-op game to play. And so we jumped into that and was having a blast playing that. And then it's pretty much it, man. Like, I didn't try to do Borderlands. So I love Borderlands, and I love the new shotgun they gave us in the Game of the Year edition. So I've been playing through that and trying to clean up. I'm in the Robo Revolution DLC, so I was like, while I'm here, I might as well just clean up the trophies here. So I'm doing the trophies there, then I can go back and clean up the secret armory of General Knox. Got to clean up the trophies.
This is Borderlands 1, yes?
Yeah, Borderlands 1, the Game of the Year edition.
All right.
And then I have to do the Mad Moxie's Underdome DLC, and because I'm trying to like 100% the games that I can. And get them off my plate. So like that's on the list. Spider-Man's on the list. Horizon Zero Dawn's on the list. Like get all the trophies that I possibly can get for those games and be like, okay, they're 100% done. You know what I mean? Because like, and it gives me a chance to go back and play the really good games. Like Borderlands, I mean, it has its flaws, but it's a really good shooter. Mm-hmm. It's a really good looter shooter.
Oh yeah,
got good characters. It's a lot of fun to play. Also like Spider-Man, obviously a phenomenal game. So I want to go back and play through the DLCs and clean up all the trophies for that. Same with Horizon Zero Dawn. I never played the DLC, so it'll give me a chance to go back to the game and play the DLC and have a good time with it without having to completely play through it. And then also God of War. I have to platinum. Well, I don't have to, but I want to.
I think I don't think the DLC for Horizon had a new game plus trophy, did it?
It does.
No, they added it to the original game before the DLC came out.
Okay.
Yes.
And they added those stupid ghost levels, which do nothing. What the hell, Gorilla?
It's all right. They're learning. Hey, cut them some slack.
I mean, they only made one of the best games of the generation.
Yeah. I mean, we've got Horizon Zero Dawn.
No more slack, Gorilla. You've done great, and now you're fucking up.
I think we could. We'd be like, hey, it's cool. I mean, if we're gonna talk about news, I'll save my little snippet about that till later.
Okay.
We'll probably talk about news later, but anyways.
So,
what have you been doing?
I had a weird weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll save a lot of it not a lot of it, but I'll save like the reason for this, for what we've been playing. But like, I have not had motivation to play games at all. Like for the past 5 days. So I've actually been watching movies. Hung out. Reba and I hung out with my friend Jason, other Jason, and we ended up watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I think by all rights, it's a decent movie because it's not, poorly made, but I think that it's probably Tarantino's weakest film. But I also earlier actually this would have been Saturday. I watched an old German film called Kings of the Road, and it's by one of my favorite directors. His name is Wim Wenders, and ties in, a lot of the themes there tie in with a game I'll talk about. But I watched that, and then I ended up having a weird sleep pattern this weekend. Like we hung out with Jason most of the day. We went out to dinner at Tired Hands, came back. I passed right the hell out. Woke up around midnight, and then I watched Parasite.
Here's good.
And man, that movie is that movie's a fucking masterpiece.
When did it win movie of the year last night? I don't even know.
I actually, like, after the movie, I looked at Twitter and saw that it won like a bunch of Oscars. Nice. And it did win Best Picture. And
nice.
I mean, considering the only two pictures I saw nominated were that and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it's pretty obvious which one I would have given it to. But I've seen a lot of dumb shit talking about this movie. Like, there was one person who asked the director, who is Korean, his name is Bong Joon-ho, he lives in Korea, he was born in Korea, the actors he hired for this movie are Korean, and the person asking, so why did you choose to have it in Korean? Now, she also did clarify, well, I know you did Snowpiercer, which had English actors in it. It's just like,
it's this guy.
That's a good movie.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But I'm just like, I don't understand why that's even a fucking question. Like, only movies that are made in Hollywood can be up for Best Picture? Like, is that what we're at now? Because I think you need to fuck off.
Okay.
And then what? No, go ahead.
No, I just fucking stupid people.
And then I saw a lot of tweets regarding Amazon reviews, like people pissed off that it's not in English. I'm like, where the fuck are we? Like, come on. There's nowhere in the marketing that says this is an English film. There's nowhere in it. And like, even I had never seen a trailer for it before I started hearing about it. And I mean, a couple of the video game developers I follow on Twitter were talking about it weeks ago. And I'm like, I'm going to have to keep that on my radar.
And speaking of those developers, nobody at DICE, the Game Awards, like, they went up with translators. Nobody had a problem with that. I saw people had a problem that he went up with the translator. It's like, what'd you want him to do? It's broadcast here. Yeah,
what's he supposed to do? Go up and butcher English so you can make fun of him for that? And there was one. I'm not going to say the person's name because I really don't want him to get more traction. But he said, the Academy Awards. I think I don't want one award to Bong Joon-ho. He steps up, says, "Great honor." And another word or a phrase, I don't remember, but then he continues his speech in Korean, and then he ends the tweet with, "These are the people destroying America." Now, I'm like, wait, are you saying Koreans are destroying America? Now, he added a tweet saying it's not Koreans. I don't mean these people as Koreans, but these people perpetuating the idea of of a class struggle. And I'm like, class struggle's fucking real. It's been real since forever. And pointing a light on it is really the only way to address it. And you have to keep it relevant. And that's why people keep making movies like this. Because hopefully one day we can, as a grand society called the human race, address this bullshit that happens all the goddamn time. And in fact, without class struggle, a movie like Parasite could not exist. And, you know, it's just, I'm going to get way too angry about this. Anyway, and then, yeah, I wasn't really able to get back to sleep till about 2 p.m. today. So that's why I woke up late for the show. And yeah, so sleeping pattern was weird. Watch Parasite. It's fucking good. Read the subtitles. Don't be an asshole. And let's talk about games, shall we?
I was going to say, I watched, it wasn't nominated. Probably wouldn't be. 21 Bridges, the Chadwick Boseman movie.
Oh, was it good?
It's an enjoyable flick. I mean, it's a good, like, cop thriller. I mean, I would definitely check it out. It's not going to win awards,
Right?
But it's a fun 2 hours or a little
21
under.
Bridges.
Yeah,
I'll check it
he's a detective basically, and the whole, because in the trailer he says, "Close the island." What island? Manhattan. All 21 bridges, 4 rivers, block them, tunnels, subway, shut it down. Like, they're trying to basically trap these killers, these cop killers. That's right from the trailer.
Interesting.
It's got
Precinct 13 shit.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
got
yeah.
what's his name? Taylor Kish. He played John Carter. He played Gambit in the Wolverine, the Origins movie.
Mm-hmm.
He's in a couple other things.
Yeah.
I think he was in that movie with Benicio del Toro, Savages.
Okay.
Never seen that.
That's an interesting flick.
Yeah.
Movies are cool.
But no, it's a good movie. I definitely would check it out.
All right. 21 Bridges. We'll look into that. Okay, so now, games. Games?
Sure.
Talk about games? Jason, you are now a respected writer for Obilisk Games.
Woo.
And I say respected because I'm pretty sure on some level Moose and I both respect you.
It's a real low level.
Hey, if you take my driving out of games, it goes up a notch.
I like your driving.
Actually, that would go up like 2/3. Like you go from like just.
So we take your driving out. Moose is on Twitter going, IGN hired this man.
Yeah. I mean,
don't let him play GTA.
like you know, we're playing games with people, and Jason's like, get in the car, get in the vehicle, and I'm like, no, don't, just no. I'm off it.
If Jason says get in the car, it's something akin to me saying get in the motorcycle.
Right? Yeah, no, you don't get.
I'm like that. It's from like there was an old Jim Brewer skit. He's like, your mom's always like, your friends always drive up. They just honk the horn. They don't even come in to say hello. And it's like you're about to say that's not true, and then like you're Brewer, get your ass in the car.
Yeah. So. Well, you just finished a review for...
Yes. My first review, well, that I finished this week. My first of 2. Bookbound Brigade. It's a Metroidvania for the Switch.
All right.
You play as a bunch of literary characters. King Arthur, Count Dracula, Dorothy, Gale. As in Wizard of Oz, a few others. Yeah. What's interesting about the game is you play as all of them at the same time. It's not like you swap between them. Like they're literally in like a pack. Like they're stacked on each other. As you attack with one, they all attack. But then you also have the ability to like change formation. You could go like head to toe, straight up to fit like in passageways, or go a complete line across to fit in shorter passageways.
Flying V.
Yeah, I didn't see a flying V. I was looking for it.
Okay.
And then you unlock like Count Dracula eventually gets the ability to glide. He gets bat, so you get a double jump. That's how it's
Okay.
explained.
Yeah.
Or King Arthur, you can create a phalanx. Like everyone drops a shield and you can block everything.
Nice.
The puns are, their pun game is up there, and their humor is, it's funny. If you've read any of the books from like high school lit, they're even better. Like they like tell Joan of Arc to calm down her fiery temper.
Oh jeez.
Or like
oh boy.
yeah, like stuff like that. But like obviously if you don't know who Joan of Arc is, okay.
Are you suicidal?
That's
there's like you meet Caesar and he goes, I have to run, my nephew Brutus has a surprise for me or something.
Oh geez, that's I don't know if I should be impressed or
but it's a interesting game. I enjoyed it. It's like a, I don't know how to describe it. The art's like caricatures, but like in a 2D world. It's not pixel, it's like cartoony, but the characters are like, you can make out who they are.
Okay.
It had its flaws. It's their first game, I think, Digital Tales, but it's quite enjoyable. Low price point, I think it's 20, 15. So it's not bad. It's about 10 hours to beat it. So, the next game, the game I'm working on now, a Devolver game, Kunai.
Oh, nice.
Kunai is a lot of fun. It's platforming, ninjas, grappling.
Is it a Metroidvania as well?
Yeah. That term's getting dirty.
Metroidvania.
Yeah. There is some backtracking, like you unlock the titled Kunai, which basically allows you to grapple.
Okay.
So you can reach then areas that you weren't able to, but not like, it's not like, oh, you backtrack 3 hours. Like, oh, I remember this. And the secrets aren't like, oh, do this and all of a sudden, like, so I guess it is in a way, like, in the sense of your backtrack, you unlock a new thing, but like, you're not unlocking it like Bookbound Brigade. Once you got the double jump, then you're like, oh, I can go back and now access this platform. Kunai is just, you kind of can get there, but then you get the Kunai and you can get there easier. Like it just makes life easier. So I wouldn't call it a complete Metroidvania. It's not like Axiom Verge, like you unlock a new ability that completely unlocks a new area.
Yeah, it just makes it easier.
Yeah. So, like, I think there's a person at Fanbyte that coined several different names for Metroidvanias because she doesn't really care for the term Metroidvania, and my favorite is Where the Fuck Do I Go platformer.
I like that.
Kunai falls into that at times.
And so, like, this is, you're kind of telling me is like, where the fuck do I go quicker?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's nice about Kunai, you ever play a game where the controls just, they nail it right away? You feel like super comfortable. That's what this feels like. It's kind of like The Messenger, where it's just, it's easy to control right off the bat.
Yeah.
That's what this feels like.
Yeah, The Messenger was super easy to control right off the bat.
It's enjoyable. It's about 5 to 7 hours to complete.
Okay.
So it's not a lot. So that's why Metroidvania, I feel it should take longer because there should be a lot more exploration.
Yeah. Well, and I think with the standard and with a new standard set by Bloodstained, with not only how much there is to do, but how weird it gets, like Metroidvanias have a ways to go to catch up to that.
Like I would say Jedi Fallen Order has more Metroidvania aspects than Kunai. Like, because there's a lot of backtracking, revisiting, because you got a new ability.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, I got the platinum.
Congratulations.
Ooh, congratulations, sir.
Worst platinum screenshot ever, though.
What was yours?
So my last trophy was kick a phallic after it kicked you.
Okay.
But the screenshot was basically I was running. It was just
so you had to kick a dick, essentially.
But it's me running away, so it doesn't even look like I did anything.
Fantastic. Mine was I think my platinum screenshot is the garden on the ship.
Okay. Oh,
because you're waiting for it to grow. Yeah. Yeah. I think I saw a lot of people with screenshots like that. I'm pretty sure that was the last trophy for a lot of folks.
I think, yeah, because I think if you went back later, because you realized you missed one, because you had to wait in game for it to grow.
Yeah. You had to just wander around. Man, that was annoying.
The other 2 games I played, Stone Shard on PC. It's a turn-based action RPG. I actually backed it on Kickstarter.
Okay.
So it's got that Diablo type look, and like old school Diablo, where you bring up like the inventory menu, the character menu. It's turn-based, as in like when you see an enemy on screen, it doesn't change anything, but you'll see a counter. So it'll be like 3, and it's like 3 steps till it gets to you. And then you see the kind of like Final Fantasy Tactics, the tiles kind of appear just on screen to show what you can reach, what you can't reach, if they can reach you. There's a survival aspect to it. Like you get thirsty, you get hungry, but it's not a constant like that's not the focus. It's just like an extra thing that's like, oh, like you get a warning on screen, like you're dehydrated. And then also your body, instead of just total health, body parts get hurt. And like your leg could break. So you'll have to you get like a splint. And then you can use like a healing potion to speed up the process. But it makes you like you could trip during like the combat with the tiles, like so you lose a turn essentially. Yeah, it's there's a lot going on, but it's not as complicated as I made it sound.
That was, I mean, I think isn't there something in like Divinity Original Sin?
Like it's probably more like Divinity than, I haven't played enough of Divinity.
Yeah.
But it's similar to,
I'm pretty sure I heard somebody say about combat in that game, like you can be just running and then just slip and die.
Yeah, I haven't, obviously this is in beta, so I don't know if that's a feature. But like it'll say like you fumbled and like you essentially lose a turn.
Right.
But it's much faster. It's not like turn-based. Like you could take your time, but it doesn't slow time. It's not like Slay the Spire where you're just sitting there like, I'm just gonna wait.
Or like XCOM where you
I'm gonna wait
20
minutes
for turns.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then lastly, I visited the oldest house. I started Control finally.
Nice.
Ooh.
I didn't realize how much of a horror game Control could be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
playing at 1 a.m. with just headphones on and the lights out, and you hear
anxiety inducing.
Yeah.
And then all you hear as you walk around, it's like, what the fuck?
Well,
it's like Bloodborne with like the baby screaming towards the cries at the end of the game, or like
except this voice you can make out shit they're saying to you, and you're like,
right. Yeah, like you're walking around Bloodborne and you hear like the creatures or like the enemies like saying stuff, and you're like, there's nothing near me. What the fuck is going on? But yeah, it's kind of the same thing.
I do have to. Within my first 20 minutes, I was like, I don't think I'm going to like this because the controls are super floaty. But then once combat actually starts, it's like they kind of met. Then you're like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. But like when you meet the janitor, creepiest character ever, by the way.
Yes, I'll agree with that.
And just you wait, sir. Just you wait.
Until you get to like that first clear point, like it feels like flowed. Like it was almost like I was missing a turn driving. Like she'd be running too fast. But then it kind of, once I got combat in there, it felt better. It was weird. Like it was a weird introduction. Like, but the story's really cool. Like everything going on. Like I like that sci-fi. Like
Emily Pope's a fucking nerd. Like, Yeah. Everything's like, because like I love the way Jessie Fade just like, especially in those early scenes, like the way she reacts to Emily Pope. And Emily Pope is like a research scientist who doesn't understand the effects of what she's researching.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, oh, this is all fascinating. And then Jessie Fade's like, yo, people died because of this.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, but this is what it is, though. Yo, understand the dignity of it.
She's more concerned about the science of it than the human factor. So, which is there's a lot of scientists in a lot of movies that are that way.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So yeah, it's just this isn't a good video game.
We all remember when Data was in Independence Day, and he's like, it's been a really exciting time down here because all these machines have started to turn on, and
it's really cool.
And like, yeah, do you know what happened on the surface? No. Yeah, they bombed the White House. Like,
yeah.
There's a war going on, and you're just sitting here like, science is cool. Yeah, no, Control's really good, man.
Definitely looking forward to playing more of it.
I'm excited to hear. I'm excited to hear reports back when you've beaten it by the end of by next show.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna focus on that. Other than Kunai, but from what I read, it's like 15 hours for the platinum, so I definitely should beat it at least by the next show. And I kind of want to make sure I'm done by the DLCs. Is it March or
I think
it was spring? Just unannounced?
No, they announced it.
Well, I know they announced it, but I don't know if they gave a date.
I don't remember the date.
They gave a date. I'll look it up while we're chatting, but I could have sworn they gave us a date.
And then, so I think before we started the show, you said you had just beaten Tomasi. Have you done any side stuff up to that point, or is there much side stuff on offer?
There wasn't anything. I actually couldn't figure out where the ability points got spent, and then I realized I had to go back to a control point. And
it's kind of annoying.
Pretty much the first time I got ability points, so
okay.
I haven't, and I've done those 3. Like the tutorials are kind of cool, like the way they really present. Like it's kind of like Jedi did it with the flashbacks, but this is kind of like otherworldly.
Yeah, astral plane.
I actually died on the hotline one, so I didn't know what to do with those things that kept forming from the rocks. The blobby looking thing. Yeah,
you just gotta run around them.
I was like, oh yeah. Like the first 2 times, I'm like, I'm just gonna tackle this. No.
Nope, they don't like that.
I was like, oh, okay.
Have you met Casper Darling yet?
No.
Okay.
I think that's what I'm told to do. I like Jesse relayed the names to Pope.
Okay.
It's like Darling, Marshall, Tomasi, and there was one other. But she basically told me where to find them.
Yeah.
So Expeditions is out now, which is...
that's the jukebox one.
Right. And then the first DLC, which is titled Foundation, is out on the 26th of March.
Cool.
So they did give a date. I was like, I could have swore there was a date, but then again, when we saw it at the Video Game Awards, it might have been the date for that first little like, hey, if you own the game, here's this expansion. I will say I don't think there was a date for the pay DLC, but now there is. So
yeah, I remember there was a big to do about, because I think something came out about it prior to the Game Awards. And then they did the jukebox thing at the Game Awards, which I still haven't gone back to try, but I'm going to try when the DLC drops because I really love that game.
And speaking of DLC, tomorrow or 2 days ago when this goes live, Dead Cells DLC comes out.
Yeah, that trailer is a straight up anime thing. It's crazy.
And this is the first DLC that's not by Motion Twin. This is by Evil Empire, who they basically are working with to do the DLC so they can work on new
other stuff. Well, I think Evil Empire is the people. I think that's the people who just wanted to continue working on Dead Cells.
It's essentially yes.
Yeah, because I think they're all technically from Motion Twin, but
It's a
They kind of
small.
broke off like
Yeah.
teams.
they
It's like
they broke
another team.
off. They decided they're not going to do a co-op situation like the way Motion Twin was.
It's a very small team, which is surprising. Like that game is phenomenal. Like I met one of the leads at PAX, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I'm the guy on Twitter you were talking to." I'm like, "What?"
No, you
right.
can't be human. I need the anonymity of the internet.
Not necessarily that, just like, I can't believe you're right here.
Yeah.
Like the M&M commercial at Christmas. He does exist.
Yeah. Moose?
Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah.
Huh?
what you up to with games?
Not much. Just trying
Cool.
to clean up some trophies.
Awesome.
I mean, you know, like at Borderlands.
Oh yeah,
Or-
I played
not
Borderlands with
What?
Moose.
Yeah, so there's like I'm finding much like sometimes Ashen or sometimes Dark Souls, like co-op games. Like so there's in the Claptrap, the Robo Revolution, there's the Interplanetary Ninja Assassin, but it's like huge, and basically
As there always is.
if you take out it's basically like Claptrap to the nth degree. If you take out his turrets, like you can pretty much not die. And so there's a point where like he stops and he opens up Bombay doors, you know, and Claptraps come out. But if you kill them as soon as they spawn, like he'll spawn at least like 15 before he closes the door and moves on. And so it's like the best way. There's like some missions where you have to collect Claptrap parts, and so it's like the best way to like collect those. But then it's also the best way. There's like super rare stuff that drops that you have to collect for stupid trophies. And so
It's an awful trophy.
yeah, so it like cuts down your farming to like maybe 2 to 3 hours.
Mhm.
And so I did it once, and then Jason and I were doing it, but then I was like realizing like two of us makes it harder, and because we're like stealing each other's kills. So like I have like if you've ever played Borderlands, like you have a lot of skill. You have like 3 trees that you can put your skills into, and I have a lot of my survival skills are based on kills. So I have to kill something for my health to regen and my shield to automatically regen and all that stuff. Well, we're just sitting there stealing each other's kills, and I'm not killing anything. And I'm like, I gotta run, I gotta hide. Whereas in like,
All of a sudden, this game became work. What the hell?
well, yeah, like whereas in if I was just in there, I would be killing. I'd be like one-shotting every Claptrap that would be coming out of there, or like maybe 2 shots, but at least I'd be killing it, and my shields would be regenning, my fire rate would be faster, my health is regenning. So like even if my shields were down, I would be regenning health and like never die. And so we were having fun doing that. I got run over a couple of times. It cost me like $17 million. Like each time I died to the point where I went from like 18 mil down to like 12 million each time I died. So I died like maybe like 10 times. And so I was like, whatever, it's money. I don't use it. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't really
You're using
matter.
money in Borderlands.
Yeah, it does. Well, I mean, you could buy class mods and whatnot. And so so we were playing that, and I mean, I fired it up Sunday morning and was like, I don't have that far to go in the DLC. So I was like, I'll just polish off the DLC, do the story missions and the story trophies, and then I'll go back and like clean up whatever I have to do. And that is basically like farming this end boss to get the Claptrap. Not necessarily Claptrap parts, because I already did that quest, because there's a quest where you have to do something insane for Tannis. And it's like something that stacks where it's like you have to collect 50 Claptrap parts, or 25, then it's like 50, then it's 70, or then it's like 100, then it's like 150, and the last one you have to collect 150 parts. And so like if you're moving through the game, like you can get it pretty easily, or you could just wait till you get to the end boss and farm the end boss for her side missions. But then the problem is like getting to her, you have to fight like a bunch of the end boss people, which I'm level 64 and I'm playing it on the first playthrough, and they're all like level maybe 30 something. So like it's not like it's like I
Hot
don't
knife through butter.
exactly. So like when I killed like and they're really funny. Like they wrote this DLC really funny, and the people have really funny parts because like their characters from the core part of the game who have basically been reanimated by Claptrap to like fight for him, so they're quote unquote robots, and they don't know that. Like they just wake up like there's the girl at the end of the game who like wakes up and she's like, all right, we're ready to open like the vault, and she's like, wait, she's like, where am I? And why is there a huge hole in my stomach? You know, and she like doesn't know what's going on. And so like the humor's still there, and like General Knox is like hilarious as always. Like if you have Borderlands, that DLC is like so funny. Like he is hilarious, General Knox. But so just been like playing that. I have to get back to farming. I think Jason completed that DLC. I think he's completed. Did you complete the Secret Armory of General Knox?
Yeah, I did
DLC?
that already.
Yeah, so he only has the Mad Moxie Underdome DLC, that. Which is insane. Like you can kind of cheat that if you log into a second account on your PS4 and have them start the Underdome at like level 10, and you come in at level 60 and just fucking own everything, because everything will be at like level 10, and then you don't have to worry about like. Or like you can team up with a buddy, which we're probably going to try and do, and wade through the trophies. But like you have to complete like 25 rounds.
No, it's the problem is it's endurance. It's 300 rounds in total.
Mm-hmm.
It's time.
Well, what's even crazier is I did that on PS3. There was no rest mode. Like, I would actually pause the game, leave it on overnight, and pray that the PlayStation didn't, like,
melt?
Shut off.
Just make it through the night.
Yeah.
Like, please.
So
like it's insanity. Like, you do 25 rounds each, and then you go back and it's 100 rounds for each arena. So it's 300 in total. And it's not, like, a quick, like, even if you put it on level, like, 10, like, that, like, exploit, it still takes, it's just the way
but then like also the rounds have different modifiers, like like if you're like me, like so I play Roland, who is the soldier, and his main weapons are shotguns and assault rifles, and it might be like shotguns do 50% less damage, and you're like, yay, you know what I mean? So you're like, now I've got to cycle through to my assault rifle, or like sniper rifles do like 30% extra damage. And I'm like, well, that does me no good because I don't use sniper rifles, you know? So it's just, it could be a struggle, but I'm looking forward to like polishing off game of the year. And like Jason brought up a good point, and he was like, man, he's like, I should just like get all the platinums in Borderlands like this year, because I believe it was your number one played series when Sony sent out that email where you could like get your statistics, and his number one series played was Borderlands. Mine was fucking shit ass Telltale, but for the last 10 years. And so because I played a lot of Telltale games, and I played like one more game in the Telltale series than I did the Borderlands series, so I got screwed on that. But anyways, so he was like, yeah,
mine would be.
It's actually True Trophies, not PlayStation.
It was True Trophies?
Yeah.
You are right. He is right. I apologize, everybody. It wasn't what Sony put out. It is actually True Trophies. He's right.
So I had Borderlands, and then I had Wolfenstein. I think it was 4 of 5 games because I didn't play Cyberpilot.
Yeah,
I signed up for True Trophies once. I wonder if I got this email.
Go to your notifications. It'll be
you, me, and Captain Canada were doing that trophy hunt one time. Remember
that I crapped out of.
Well, no. So you can go into your notifications and you'll get that link, and you just go click on the link. And so basically, I had like 4 out of the 5 games for Borderlands because I didn't play anything on PlayStation 3. So I played one game on PlayStation 3, which was Borderlands. I have Borderlands there. And then I have the Handsome Collection, the Game of the Year edition, and then Borderlands 3. But I have more Telltale games. I've played more Telltale games on PS4 than anything. And and then the Soulsborne series was number 3. And I was like, but I spent 300 plus hours in Dark Souls 3 this year. But anyways, so, Jason was like, I'm going to do the platinums for the Borderlands series. And I'm like, I'm not that I'm like extremely close, but I am without DLCs for the Handsome Collection. Borderlands 2, I'm like 75-80% through. The pre-sequel, I'm like 85, almost 90% through. So I don't have a lot to do for either of them. A lot of them is finding the Vault Hunter signs and discovering like every single area on a map. So like those are the ones that I'm going to have to go through and like really like probably follow a YouTube video to figure out what the hell I need to find. But I know Borderlands 2 has like kill so many people with like a rocket launcher, and I'm gonna be like, all right, well, I'm gonna go through some early areas with a rocket launcher and blow some fucking people's faces off. Like I feel it was weird. It's weird to me. Like you look at Borderlands Game of the Year, which I have the understanding that it is exactly the same trophy list as Borderlands was on Xbox. Well,
one trophy. There's one trophy different.
Oh, play with the developers. Yeah, so it almost has the exact same trophy list as PlayStation 3. And then when Borderlands 2 came out, they went like hog wild on like, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. Like find these locations, find that.
Jimmy Jenkins.
Right, and then pre-sequel was kind of the same way. And then when they put Borderlands 3 out, I feel Borderlands 3, it's not like I ain't saying it's like a super easy trophy, platinum trophy. But it's pretty straightforward. Mm-hmm. Like it's a straightforward platinum, and like you can figure out what you got to do, and it's not like, well, what area did I not get? You know what I mean? And then you got to be like, well, I got to go to this map, and I'm gonna walk through every area so it says it on my screen what area I'm in, so that I know I got that area. Whereas in like Borderlands 3 is just like, I think like the hardest ones were like the Typhoon logs, and the
Typhon logs wasn't associated with the trophy, was it?
I thought it was. You had to complete the.
Yes and no. You didn't have to do them, but if you did them, you had a greater chance of finishing the exploration because it would pull in that's a small like spot you had to discover. So it kind of aided in it, and plus that was some of the best writing in the game. The Typhon logs.
The Typhon logs are fucking.
When you step in shit, consider the upside.
But I'd say 3 was the easiest, then 1, then pre-sequel, then 2.
Yeah, like I don't feel like we were able to get 1 pretty easily. Like it dropped April 3rd, and we had it like before the end of the month.
Mine says 1 week, 3 days.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not that hard. So the main concern is like not concern, but like the toughest part is going through and getting like all the kills with. I think the pre-sequel has the kills where you got to kill with like get the kills with each character, and then because like Borderlands 3 didn't do that. Borderlands 3 wasn't like use the rack 50 times, the rack attack with flak 50 times, or like it's just you don't have to worry about those different types of kills for each character. Mm-hmm. Whereas in like pre-sequel and Borderlands 2 have those, and so it's like
I think in 1 it had that too, where you had to do like certain abilities.
You do, but you didn't have to build your character up too high.
You could level them all to like level 3.
Yeah. Like
you could do it in the first zone. Like 2, 0 had to be
0
50.
and the little guy. I don't remember.
Salvador had to be almost 50.
You had like I think 0 you need to be at least level 31.
Yeah, and Sal was similar because you needed a lot of the extra talents to pull off the
build that mayhem level or whatever.
Yeah, so I mean it's It is what it is. So like I really what I need to do is go back to my Borderlands, and figure out what trophies I have and what I need to do for them. So that's why I've been doing the DLC in Borderlands 1, because I'm like, I have the platinum. Well, let me just polish off the trophies and be able to put that that game on the shelf. But
I still need to 100% to platinum pre-sequel and actually play Game of the Year edition, because
yeah,
so
we can do that. I mean,
one day,
I'd jump in with it. I mean, it's
hopefully my first shift change happens soon.
yeah. Well, we know what our number one concern when you go to first shift is going to be.
What?
Ashen. We go.
Oh yeah, that bullshit.
You know what? You mentioned the True Trophies decade thing. The most concerning thing is the value of your games.
Oh Jesus, yeah.
Because I was thinking about it, and that's only showing the value of the games that are like registered on the site, not your total collection, because it can't register if you didn't play it because the trophy didn't pop.
Fucking doing it wrong, True Trophy. No, I'm kidding.
Well, so because I was looking, and for the decade, it was mine was valued at 13 grand.
Oh, that hurts.
There's at least 300 games I have that I've never started.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh Jesus.
Like that. I mean, that hurts just because I'm thinking of all the games I have that I've never started.
Which makes me just be like, we got to kill this backlog even more, But
it's like
Ashen, I haven't touched Ashen since the last time you and I played, because I was like,
me either.
I was like, I could go farm stuff, like the scoria for that game, and like maybe buy some of the quote unquote homeward bones, so that we could get back to town if we have to, whenever we decide. But I was like, you know what, like, I'm all right. Like I enjoy the game. I could level to where I can get the new two-handed weapon that I switched to level 2.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm not gonna do this. I mean I could, but I didn't know when we were gonna play again. I switched my Monday off. I get every other Monday off, so I switched the one day to be after the Super Bowl, and so I was like, I'm not going to be able to play with him for a while, so I'll figure it out.
Are you off this coming Monday or no?
No, the following Monday. So like I'm now on my regular schedule. So like today I was supposed to be off, but I switched it with last week. So next week is my regular week where I'm supposed to be at work, and then it's the following week I'll be off. And so what I'll probably do is like one weekend or one evening, just be like, all right, I'm sitting here and I'm farming this guy and getting some scoria, and I'm going to level my weapon to level 2. And so basically you can level your weapon until you actually need like leveling material where you could just level it with the scoria. And then there's a certain point where you actually have to get materials in the game, but you don't get them until you further the story along, and we are not we are moving to that part of the story.
Yes.
So like I feel like that is like another thing like Dark Souls can like learn from like Ashen. Like I love that it's that way, like level stuff up, and then like you're moving into the next story. Well, you're leveled up as far as you can go. You have to go into the next part of the story to get material to come back and level it up. And it kind of does that. But the greatest thing that From Software can learn is Ashen, when you're leveling, you don't get like your scoria doesn't level your stamina, your health, any of that. Like obviously you don't have stats. The only stats you really have as far as Ashen goes is your health and your stamina, but you get those from doing quests. So you can't out level the game. Like Dark Souls, you could be in the first area and just farm that for fucking 500 hours and then just walk your way to the end of the game and beat the boss with like no issue. Whereas in like Ashen, like you actually have to progress in the game to be able to, and beat quests to be able to get more health, get more stamina. So you can't just be like, oh, I'm just going to sit here and farm this mother trucker for a while. while I listen to podcasts or watch a show on my tablet, and then level up my health to be like the nth degree, and then just walk through the game. So that's what I like about Ashen. It's just like
I'm sorry to interrupt you here, but
no, I was actually done.
Okay,
So.
I like your observations, but I also think like the one thing you're missing here is Ashen is more open world than any Souls game.
No, it is. No, you're right. You're right.
Like,
it is
because like
is.
I mean, and the only real difference between Ashen and Dark Souls is not to be reductive, but like a series of corridors, whereas Ashen is a series of areas. So Ashen sort of expands out like this, whereas Dark Souls, you open new doors.
Right. And I do understand that, but to an extent, you can spend forever in that first corridor.
Your farming statement is completely correct. I'm not trying to contradict.
No, I know. And I agree that Ashen is a lot more open world. Like you can move on to another area and do the quests, in that area without completing some of the quests in the previous area.
I would say,
but that's not the way we were working. We were like, this is the closest quest. Boom, done. Next closest quest. Boom, done. Like we would go out. We were working in like circles that were ever expanding out from Vagrant's Rest, and then coming back, leveling, or buying like extra.
We're basically like, yo, Moose, grocery list is all done. Head home.
We're heading home. And so you go home and you level up, then you go out a little bit further and you come back, and then you're going out further, and it was just I think they have it's just such a good game. If I would have played it and beat it last year, it would have been hard not to give it my number one over.
Oh wow.
I loved Children of Morta, but I enjoyed the hell out of Ashen. So right now, Ashen has my, game I should have played, in 2019 that I played in 2020. Like I should have played it last year. So that it's got that title right now, but it is a phenomenal game. I can't wait to tap into the DLC, which I think will be fun, which I hear owns you even more, and the trophies on that we need to play through the DLC on
Cessna mode.
Yeah, I know. So it's like I'm sitting here thinking like, why even bother go in with our regular characters? We just wait till we beat Cessna and then go in with that character.
Exactly. Well, we'll probably have to do it before Cessna, because Cessna ends the game. You got to start over.
That's true. But anyways, so like, that's pretty much it. Just like trying to clean up trophies and like looking at other games and just, enjoying like co-op. Like this year has been like pretty cool as far as like co-oping with people that I don't normally co-op with. I know like since we've ended Nerds Gone Platinum, and not an issue, but like Jeff, he's been watching more movies, which is great. He's been reading more books. He's moving into like producing his own music. And so it's kind of like that's nice.
I can't wait for Jeff Glass to get face tattoos.
Like, so I mean, like, so like, Mr. Hefe is doing that. And so like that's cool. I'm like, that's nice. And like part of me is like, man, I could like, I should watch like a movie. And then I'm like, but I could play Dark Souls with a friend, and I'm like, I'd rather just play Dark Souls and like talk shit with a friend of mine. And so, that's what I do. And but it's, I don't know. Anyways, it's been a good year so far.
So far, yeah.
Trophy hunting's been pretty good. I bought my first. So for those that don't know, Matt and I have been like trying to tackle the backlog, and we are under a strict no-buy policy.
Yes. Well, I was a stricter no-buy policy.
I should say a stricter, not a don't buy shit.
Not a if you spend money, you're out of the fucking club.
Right. But so, and this is an announcement for anybody that wants to know. I purchased Resident Evil 3 remake because I loved Resident Evil 2, and I on PlayStation, and I played Resident Evil 3 and loved Resident Evil 3. And so what I'm going to do, so Resident Evil 3 launches on April 3rd, which is the Friday before my birthday. I am going to, starting this week or next week, I'm going to start streaming Resident Evil 2 and doing my like quote unquote blind playthrough of Resident Evil 2. It probably won't be blind. I will probably allow backseating just to help me progress. Like if I hit a wall and I'm like, hey, like what do I do from here just to help progress the story? Like that's going to be fine because I've already played through the game. You know what I mean? But I mean, it is kind of a little bit of a remake, and I know they changed some areas of things and how things, like how characters interact with other characters. But anyway, so I'm going to try and play through Resident Evil 2 on my streams, and then when my birthday week I have off, so I'll be playing Resident Evil 3. I'll be hopefully streaming it that week. I should not be an issue. So I'm just going to launch it.
I have a pitch idea for your stream.
What's that?
Since you love horror games.
Love it. Sarcastic, everyone. That's sarcasm.
From Grandma's basement, Moose is crying.
From Grandma's basement, Moose is crying. I could do that. That's actually where that's where I actually played a lot of Resident Evil 2. This was Grandma's basement before I moved back home. So, anyway.
Hang on, I'm just gonna trademark that real quick.
So that's gonna be coming up. But I bought Resident Evil 3. I think like the next game that I would buy is Last of Us 2. Matt and I have talked about like our games for this year that were like
Doom, motherfuckers.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. I feel Matt likes Doom more than I do. Not that I don't like Doom. And so I was not kind of under the assumption, but like assuming Matt would pick up Doom and I would pick up Last of Us 2 first. Because I know
correctly.
I know Matt liked Last of Us, but I know Matt is also of the frame of mind that's like, did we really need a sequel? And I kind of agree with that. I kind of agree with that. But like part of me is like, in my opinion, so like for those who don't know, I didn't play Last of Us until the remaster came out, and we were doing our trophy challenge, which was like a year ago? It was 2018 I played it. It was 2019. So 2018 I played it for the first time. And
this Carrie's not a challenge for you.
Yeah, no.
No.
It was before that, but my problem with it was like there's a lot of
y'all failed that one.
Yeah, we did fail the Carries is not a challenge thing. Anyways.
Well, technically you didn't fail, you didn't finish because the podcast ended. So loophole.
That's true. We do have a loophole.
And technically she didn't finish either. So
yeah. So okay. So anyways, everybody, no, I'll cancel.
We're good. So I had a lot of issues with the game. Most importantly, like when you get discovered by like clickers, and it's like if you don't have a shiv, you're done. And they kind of like worked on that so like I feel like if you suck at stealth, like the game is like super hard for you. But I feel with like The Last of Us 2, they give you more ways to get out of a situation that you get discovered in, if that makes sense. And so I feel like it's going to have a better play mechanic to it. And that's why I'm looking forward to it, is better gameplay. I'm sure they're going to kick ass with the story. I kind of agree with you, man, that they don't need to have a sequel. Mm-hmm. But I feel it's like one of those things where if they do it right, it's like, yeah, the sequel could fit in. You know what I mean? Like I feel like if it's done well,
It's easy for me to just, dig in and say, doesn't need a sequel. But also like, I think they handled their stories pretty well.
Right.
I'm not a fan of the Uncharted games, but like I can't really knock, Naughty Dog's track record. Like it's so, like it's as long as it's not Sony saying, "Hey, okay, you don't want to make a Last of Us sequel, we're going to give it to somebody else and let them do it."
Yeah. Like my opinion with them is like their worst part is their gunplay. So like like if you actually know how guns fire and you've shot a gun before, like you're sitting there and you're shooting at somebody and you're aiming at their head and all of a sudden the round just goes like way the fuck out of nowhere and you're like, that's not how guns work. Like I fired guns before. You know what I mean? And so
it's not like the movie Wanted, just spin the bullet.
No, it's not like that, but it's not like it's not as bad as like Naughty Dog.
Is it like the 18 where you fire a ton of rounds and you just hit the ground?
No. But anyway, so I
Is
feel
it like Star Wars where stormtroopers just miss?
all right, we're moving along. We're moving along.
Wasn't there a Wanted video game?
There was a Wanted video game. You are correct.
Probably. I mean, if there wasn't, missed opportunity.
Seriously.
No, there was. There was one.
I mean, dovetailing on what you're saying, Moose, like there's a critic that writes for Paste a lot. Her name is Dia Lucina. And she said a really good thing about stealth games. Like, stealth games are only as good as what happens when you go loud.
Right.
And last, I mean, granted, this is 7 years since Last of Us came out. At the time, it was an exercise, a really good exercise in tension, but if you went loud, and especially in the harder difficulties, you were kind of screwed. It was just, I mean, it was essentially like, I can't think of another stealth game that just ends when you go loud, because I typically don't play a lot of them. I'm just taking a guess here, so I might be wrong, but like the Thief games, the Stalker games, those games might just end when you go loud.
It's like you go loud and you're like, pause, quit, reload, try at it again. And that's what Matt's meaning when he's like, it ends when you go live. Not that like the game's over and you're done. It's like,
not like a game over state, but
your gameplay, like I did do that a lot when I was playing Last of Us. I was like, oh, I got discovered by a clicker, pause, quit, reload, let's try it again.
That game Origami. That had that feature. Basically, if you were caught, there was no fighting your way. Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, it just reset to the checkpoint.
Like I understand. Like, part of me is like, I understand you have to build mechanics into a game, but it's like, okay, you have a shiv, which is like a piece of metal. And I'm like, that metal is almost like a knife, and it's like, how long do knives last? You know what I'm saying? Like,
but then you're also
how you're using it. It's like their burnability on some of their stuff. It's just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is ridiculous.
But then also Ellie's knife never.
Right, I know. You never had to like repair her knife. You never had to like there's.
Which, regarding that, thank God, because that would be painful as hell to manage.
Right, and it's just. There's just some mechanics where it's like, we built this into the game because like it would just be a cakewalk to go through here. And it's like, well, then you need to design your game better. You know what I mean? Like the game, like, but anyways, so hopefully Last of Us 2 is awesome. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. It was supposed to be out in April. Now it's pushed to May. So, I mean, this gives us more time to play other games. We have a backlog. I want to play Control. So I might bounce into that once I finish Borderlands, getting all the trophies in that. But
all right, so I think I'll go into what I played this week, and then we'll wrap. I finished Kentucky Route Zero.
Ooh. On what platform, maybe?
On Switch.
Okay. And did you like? So, from my understanding, sorry to interrupt you.
No,
my understanding was you've been following this game for a while, and you've been
Yes.
waiting for a quote-unquote console release.
Yes.
So my understanding of your experience with this game is just falling in love with it, and then finally getting to play it now on Switch, and we also have it on PS4.
Yes.
So, did it live up to your expectations? Is the question I want to ask you.
Yes, it did.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
100%. They I think I went into pretty explicit detail last show, but like I decided after watching people play through acts 1 through 3, but none of the interludes, I knew I was going to get Kentucky Route Zero when I was able, either when I had a PC or if it came out on console. Shortly after I became aware of Annapurna, I noticed that they were publishing it on console. So I'm like, all right, I am getting that game when it comes out. And, and Go
The
ahead.
main was it's 7 years, 5 to 7 years after
It was
PC
announced
release
in 2011 via Kickstarter.
for
And
PC and then
yeah,
consoles, or I don't know what the announcement was. I'm
the
sorry.
announcement
So
was a Kickstarter in 2011. That was just for PC. And then
okay.
I think when Annapurna picked it up, they were going to port it to consoles.
And as far as I know, you said the last episode came out on PC and then the game released in completion on consoles, right?
Act 5 came out everywhere the same day.
Okay.
And
All right. Sorry to interrupt.
And that day also was when, on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, the entire game released.
Right.
So up until the last episode, I think I had only completed up to Act 3, and I completed the interlude between 3 and 4, Act 4, the interlude between 4 and 5, Act 5, and the interlude after 5. Completing this game, it's the first time since platinuming Sekiro where a game basically had me shook. Didn't have me shook for the same way Sekiro did, because that was like a gameplay gauntlet, and then overcoming that, I was just like, finally. But the way that this story ends, I think it's a beautiful ending, and the way that Cardboard Computer handled both changes in the narrative, as well as like the interface and pivoting directions during the interludes. Like I'll quote Patrick Klepek on Twitter. This game is a fucking masterpiece. Thank you, Archer.
That was Shelby, but sure.
I just assumed it was. I always assume it's Archer. No disrespect, Shelby, or Pippa, or Callie, Bagel, whatever. But this is a game, and like I said last week, if you take a chance on it, play through Act 1. If you're not in there, you're not going to be in. It's not gonna hook you. But this is where gameplay stories kind of should be, I think. I think it's easy to loop this in with Disco Elysium, but I also think you have to look at the fact that this game started coming out in 2013, and Disco Elysium came out in 2019, and yet Kentucky Route Zero is at like the right spot. So I don't know if that shows that Cardboard Computer were ahead of the game in terms of storytelling, or if
it could have been ahead of the game.
Yeah, could have been.
So is it my understanding? Like, I've played a bit of the game. Is it kind of like an action adventure type game, or it's not?
It is. I mean, it aspires to be a point and click adventure,
right?
But it's mostly you are barely moving a character on screen.
Okay, that's what I kind of thought, and it's more story interaction than it is like you actually like having to fight an enemy or having to like interact with NPCs as far as like talking to them or interacting with like enemy NPCs where you're fighting them or a boss. So
this game is all story. It's all
which is
story.
Awesome.
It's all presentation, and it's executed so well.
It seems like a breath of fresh air.
It really is. Yeah. I mean, and I sort of knew the narrative stuff prior to playing it because I'd watched the first 3 acts. But it's not like Mass Effect where you're choosing the Paragon statement or the Renegade statement. You are choosing tone of the moment rather than, a specific line of dialogue. And that continues throughout the I guess 10 different pieces of content in it. I mean, and one thing I like, I think early on in the game, using like traveling from place to place, when that's more of a thing, because it's more of a thing early on than it is later in the game. Most of it is just sort of after, I think, Act 4 on, it's kind of just you're on a ride along at that point. But navigating the actual map of Kentucky in the early game is interesting because they'll tell you to go specific places, but they talk in the way that like you would give someone directions pre-GPS. Like, you know, it's like you're gonna go to this street and this street and then make a left, rather than, you know, 1.2 miles, make a right. And then when you're navigating the zero,
bitches.
Thank you, Snoop Dogg GPS.
Sorry.
But when you're navigating the zero, it would be like they'll be like, you know, go until you see the crystal, turn around, go until you see the shark, turn around, and it's right there.
Okay.
And you know, in the 90s, way back when, you know, that was how I would get directions places, especially in the Midwest, when at night it's dark and there aren't many streetlights and maps are worthless at that point because you
can't see.
You have no context.
Yeah.
And it's I mean, I think that's a very interesting feeling in a game that you don't get often, if ever. But Kentucky Route Zero is it's a game that I look forward to going back and platinuming on PS4. That's why I double dipped. But I can't say it's going to be something I do immediately.
You're gonna let it sit for a while, which is understandable. I mean, I wouldn't think the platinum would be hard. It might be a little bit of backtracking, missing some story mode stuff.
Well, I know as I was playing through, especially Act 4, like there are a lot of places where there's a definite diversion, where you have a choice to go one place or the other, and if you don't go the other place, you miss all that content. And that's fine. I'm okay with that. I think, you know, sometimes watching a movie the second time, you get more information than you got the first. I'm okay with that.
Right.
But yeah, this game, it landed in a way that not only it wasn't the way that I wanted. It wasn't only the way I wanted it to land. It was the way that like I needed it to land. Which was very good. It was like cathartic and revelatory and beautiful. And it was one of those games that like, it was like the first time I watched, there's a movie it's one of my favorite movies of all time called 8.5. And I remember the first time I watched it, I immediately knew that I was not the same person as I was before I started it. I don't think that'll happen for everybody with Kentucky Route Zero, but like it definitely happened to me. And it's something that's happened to me a couple of times with games that I've played, like Outer Wilds did that, Demon Souls did that, the original Legend of Zelda did that. I mean, to a point, like Bloodborne and Sekiro did that. But this one, it was so heavy to the point where I'm like, okay, what am I going to play today? The next day, I sat down on my couch to play, to grind some Scoria and Ashen. I went like 20 yards from one of those ritual stones. I'm like, fuck this. I don't want to do this. I can't do this right now.
You just get those
it's not like Ashen's a bad game, because we've waxed rhapsodic about it for a few episodes now. I feel like it's going to be a running theme for a while. But it was one of those pieces of media that just kind of like, what, I need to stew in this for a while. And I'm glad that it worked out this way, because this, I mean, like I said to Antonio last week, this is one of the best stories I've ever experienced in games. And it's very much like a book I would like to read again, but I need to wait. But today, actually, I did play 2 other games.
Oh shit, ladies and gentlemen. Oh shit.
One of them's a phone game. It's
Uh-oh.
called, I don't remember how much it costs on iOS, but it's called Song of Bloom. And it's a really cool little puzzle game. It has a good art style, and it leads you down its path in a lot of ways that you kind of have. You might not see it the first time you go through it, but as you keep going through, you start to figure out what to look for. And I basically I started it and finished it. It's not super difficult, but it's a wonderful little piece of content that people should check out. I think if I remember correctly, a lot of it does have a lot of statements on like being on screens too much, and saying, hey, maybe look at the world around you a little bit. And I think the gameplay exhibits that really well. And it has good piano music, and it's a cool thing. The puzzles in it are really cool. The arts, the visual media that it uses, like there's one point where it's using stop motion, like just yarn patterns, or straight up claymation, or different types of video. And the visual puzzles in it are actually like interesting and fun to figure out. But I think if you were to mainline it, it would probably take you an hour. I'm pretty sure it took me about an hour and a half to get through. But then I also played a game on Switch called Wide Ocean Big Jacket. And the only reason
Big Jacket.
Yes. No, it's not that Cake song, because that's Short Skirt Long Jacket.
Right.
But the only reason this was even on my radar is because Cardboard Computer, developers of Kentucky Route Zero, tweeted about it, and I'm like, I will listen to these guys, and I did. This is another super short game. I know it's less than $10 on Switch. I think it tops out. If you take your time, it'll take you 2 hours to get through. Good story about 4 people on a camping trip. Good uses of perspective, that some of which come from the later acts of Kentucky Route Zero, which is interesting. But good. It's a good story about a married couple taking their niece and her boyfriend on a camping trip, and each of them is sort of grappling with an issue, and I don't want to say it gets like handled, but I think they explore it. They explore each of them really, really well. If you have a spare $10, pick it up on Switch. I think it's on PC as well. I don't think it's anywhere else. It's by Turn Follow Games, and I think it's self-published as well. And I think all of their games prior to this one are on itch.io. So tiny developer, indie AF. Check it out. Cool. Good pixel art.
Okay.
Decent dialogue. Sometimes I think the character Mord is a bit much to handle, but also like I think she's 13. I'm pretty sure we were all a bit much to handle at 13. So
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I've really played. Hopefully by next show I will be able to pick up a controller and do something with my life, because man, I can't sit like this forever. But I was talking about along similar lines to what Moose was talking about with Resident Evil 3. I think I know a game I think I know a series I'm going to stream.
Uh-oh.
And I'm going to start. I'm going to do this one game at a time.
Okay.
I'm going to go chronologically, so I might not blitz through all of them because there's a lot of them. In fact, I think by the end of 2020, there will be 8 games in this series.
What are we talking about?
We are talking about Yakuza.
Ooh.
I'm going to start with Yakuza 0.
Okay.
And
which is the prequel, correct?
Yes, the prequel. And I am going to go. I would like to go through all of those games.
I believe 4 and 6 drops tomorrow, don't they, on PS4?
I mean, I
know, like Jason does the same thing I'm doing. I'm like, let's go to the tape.
yeah. Go because I think. Are you sure 4 and 6? Because 6 came out on PS4, so
it might be.
I know they're not going to remaster it.
Maybe it's 3 and 5, but I know I think they skipped one of the games, and I was like, well, what about that game? And I don't know. I didn't look
because I know Kiwame 1 and 2 have come out.
Yeah, these aren't even those. They don't have that subtitle, which is basically the remake subtitle. Yeah. These are just.
I don't know if 3 has a Kiwame.
Yeah. What does the drop say, Jason? What is today, the 10th? Yeah. We're taking a while. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead.
Basically, I know I at least have 0 and 1.
Mm-hmm. So you can at least play through those.
I may actually have 6 as well, but I don't remember. I have to dig through the library.
3.
It's
3 and 5.
3 and 5.
So they skipped 4. So I'm like, I don't know what happened to 4. I don't know what's going on with 4.
I know that there's like a big physical collection you could buy of these two, which
also note to listeners, we also have Judgment, which is the same game developer.
It's the same developer. It's the same developer, new series in the same place as Yakuza.
Yeah, so it's like you could just roll right on through all that.
Which I would probably do that too, depending on how 0 goes. But I think the next thing, once I'm ready to just embark on that journey, I'll probably do that, like, because I know you and I have been playing Ashen. I'll probably do that just alternating weeks.
Yeah.
So Infinite_Rewind on Twitch.
Yeah. What? Ooh, Darksiders Genesis starts.
Catch me in the streets of Kamurocho acting fucking ratchet.
Yeah.
So I think that's we should probably end it. Otherwise, we'll just start looking for stuff to buy and spending money, and none of us need that.
Yeah, at least you can get 3.
Yeah.
And 5. I'm looking for, but anyways.
So, really, we only did what we're playing this week. I don't remember a whole lot of news. Nothing really jumps out at me except for there was something that came out.
Anthem.
Oh yeah, Anthem is doing their Casey Hudson released a blog post saying, "Hey, we're actually going to really look at Anthem." And then they
deleted it.
Yeah, and then they deleted it. There's an allegory there somewhere.
I don't. There was some, like we were talking about at the beginning of the show, and I was like, "Oh, I'll just hold that for the news." We're talking about the
DLC.
news.
There's something about DLC.
And now I can't fucking remember to save my life. Oh, Borderlands DLC should be this week.
Yeah, we'll find
sometime.
out. The Borderlands show is tomorrow with the director of post-game content. So there's a good chance we find out what the next DLC is.
Now, over under on Pitchford doing magic.
Fuck, I hope he doesn't show up.
I don't think he's on the show.
I mean,
Or tomorrow, or as in if you listen to this 2 days ago. So you'll know by the time this comes out.
Yeah. So
I could have swore there was some other news that I was thinking of.
Oh, and also if you were waiting for Remnant from the Ashes, I don't know why you'd be still waiting. You can get a physical next month. So get on that.
Ooh, yeah, play that game. That game's really good. All of us
Play
like
that funky music.
And on that note,
see you on the next one.
later.
At Story Route Zero, we have some cool friends who do some cool things, and I'd like to tell you about them. Phoenix Overdrive uses the power of games and gamers to help heal sick kids through the charity Extra Life. Phoenix Overdrive fundraises for Children's Miracle Network hospitals all year, every year, and the fund culminates in a 24-hour gaming marathon. Find out more about their events and projects online via Facebook at facebook.com/Phoenix Overdrive or on Twitter and Instagram at PHX_Overdrive. You can also join the Facebook group of Pawn Stars at facebook.com/groups/PO Nation in order to share and discuss all the latest in nerd culture. They've also got a podcast, Nerd Overdrive, which you can see weekly at youtube.com/Phoenix Overdrive. You can also catch it on Facebook Live or twitch.tv/PHX_Overdrive. That podcast is also published on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher. You want merch? They got merch. Merch can be ordered from tinyurl.com/PHXODmerch, a portion of which goes to their fundraising efforts. Join the nation and be a hero to sick kids, as El Capitan Ray Osorio, Lee the Maestro, and Becky, the lovely queen of the guild, always say, #Rise Above. This has been an episode of Story Route Zero. Thank you for coming along on this journey. We sincerely hope you enjoyed yourself as much as we enjoyed having you. Once again, you can find everything we do at StoryRoute0.com. Hit us up on Twitter at StoryRoute_0, or you can email us at StoryRoute0@gmail.com. If you'd like to hit us up individually anywhere, you can find Moose at Sven, that's SVHENN, everywhere on social media. That's PSN, that's Twitter, that's Instagram. You can also find him on Twitch, streaming games. You can find Jason Marshall at GimpyJ, with 2 Y's at the end. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's Twitch, and he also has a website called whereisthepausebutton.com. Captain Canada is the only Story Route Zero exclusive. He's the only one you can only find right here on the show. As for me, I'm Infinite_Rewind everywhere I'd like to be. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's PSN, and Twitch. I also have my own website, InfiniteRewind.com, where I do all sorts of weird writing and rambling. Check us out at all the places. And remember, you are always welcome, and you will always have a seat waiting for you on this ride. But for now, it's back to the real world for us. We will see you on the next one.